and welcome back to my annual video on predicting the Premier League. First up, reacting to last season's predictions. I got quite a bit wrong, especially West Brom did way worse than I expected and Burnley did way better. No, I got only Swansea correct for the relegations. And that guy that raged at me for not putting Spurs in the top four, well, look, they made it. My predicting them to finish fifth didn't affect it. Alright, moving on from that, I got a score of 3.3 if you take the average distance away from where they actually finished compared to my prediction. Which is worse than last year, which, if you remember, I got a 2.6. So I'll try and improve this time, but you never know. So, going through my prediction, who do I think will finish last? Well, I'd put Cardiff in last. Honestly, they just don't look very good. Last time they were in the Premier League, they just finished last. And I think that's their fate, really. Next up, I'm going to put Brighton. Last season I predicted them to finish last. They stayed up, but I'm still not convinced that they'll stay up. And same with Huddersfield in 18th. They just haven't made the signings you'd really need to be able to stay up. And I mean, I know they stayed up last year, but there was a lot of teams that just didn't really do very well last year. Next I'm saying Southampton. They've lost Tadic, but I think they have enough to stay up. 16th, I think the promoted team Fulham. They do seem to have enough to stay up. They've done decent business in the transfer window, and I usually at least one of the promoted teams stays up. And all three did last time, surprisingly. I think Watford will drop a place down to 15th. And they haven't really done very well in the transfer market. A lot of teams haven't done very well in the transfer market. Very few actually seem considerably better off. Wolverhampton, I think, will get 14th. They've got a pretty good overall team. I feel like they can do pretty decently, possibly even higher for them. Same with Fulham. I always predict the promoted teams to do pretty badly, but I think Wolverhampton can take 14th. 13th, I think Crystal Palace will drop. They always seem to drop. No, they always hire impact managers and never do well. They got Roy Hodgson this time, who isn't really a impact manager, but he's also not a very good one. So I think 13th is fair for them. Bournemouth, I don't think will change. They've got Eddie Howe, who I rate as a quality manager, but they just don't really have the team. 11th, I think Newcastle will drop one. That's mostly just due to teams going ahead of them. Leicester in 10th, I think. They've lost Mahrez, so teams considerably worse in that regard. However, 9th place, one of the few teams that have actually done and proper strengthened, I think, is West Ham. They've got Manuel Pellegrini in, so he's a big name manager, and they've done some decent signings. I think 9th is perfectly realistic for West Ham, and that's why Newcastle dropped down, really, not because they're much worse off. 8th place, I think Burnley. They have also done quite a bit of good strengthening, but I just don't see them being able to continue that 7th place they got last season. Still don't know how they even managed that, to be honest. 7th place, I think Everton will Reclaim, and then 6th place, I'm thinking Arsenal. Like they've got Emery in. I don't honestly don't really rate them. They've done some transfers, but nothing incredible. I think they'll be a lot closer to the rest of the top 6, but I still think they'll come 6th. 5th place, I'm still going to say Chelsea, because they were 5th by a reasonably large margin last time, and I just don't think they've done enough to close the gap. 4th place, I'm going to say Spurs. To be fair, they could get 5th or 6th because they haven't signed anyone. So, yeah, so it's just, I mean, they've got a young squad which is improving every season, but without signing anyone, I don't see them being able to compete for those top 3 spaces, which I think will be a fair bit above the rest of the league. So, who have I gone for in 3rd then? Honestly, I'm putting Liverpool. Like they've done some signings. They've got a great attack, but still, I think the defence will just let them down, and they'll concede too many goals. Like, they got into the Champions League final last season, but still, I don't think they'll do better than 3rd. So then, as always, I'm predicting Manchester clubs to take the top 2 spots. But who am I going to say 1st and 2nd this time? Well, as much as I'd love to put United in 1st, I've gone for City in 1st because honestly, we were just terrible in the transfer market. We signed Fred and Delort. Oh yeah, and I guess Lee Grant, but he's probably not going to play at all. Delort will probably play like cup games or something. We've really only signed Fred. Whereas City have signed Mahrez. They already had the easily best team in the league. Like, they've honestly got one of the best teams ever to be in the Premier League. Like, probably like, I wouldn't say top 5, but like top 6 or 7, yeah. So yeah, that's the predictions done. Hopefully I can do better than last time. Finally reach that goal of 2. And if I've done it correctly and you've got annotations on, there should be an iCard popping up now saying where you want this channel to go, because for the past few years I've only done one prediction video a year, and I'm thinking I might like to change that. But of course my interests now are way different to when I started this channel, so I'm thinking maybe doing some grand strategy games like Crusader Kings, maybe doing some anime content. There's some different ways it could go, so go ahead and answer that survey.